inflation figures have just been released, and the most likely outcome will be the RBA will have to raise interest rates, which directly affects a lot of Australians. For those that are new here, my name's Josh, and I break down things that don't necessarily make sense, in this case, the economy, and kind of show you how it affects your everyday life. So today we're going to be talking about inflation, primarily the inflation figures that came out today. We've almost gone up 1% over a course of 30 days. So we've gone from 3.7% to 4.6% of headline inflation. Headline inflation is where we look at the highest inflationary points to the lowest inflationary points and do an average. So that's what that 4.6% comes into play. So what happens is that the RBA and the government like to tout a figure called trimmed inflation, which what happens is they take off the outliers, so the really, really high things and the really, really low things, and they trim it down about 15% from the top and 15% from the bottom, and they have what they call trimmed inflation in the middle. So that's currently sitting at 3.3%, and from the graph, it looks pretty stubborn. It looks like that 3.3%, and everyone's probably going, hey, this doesn't translate to what I'm seeing in the shops, what I'm seeing from every facet of life, which is everything's going up. But that 3.3%, the RBA likes to keep it at 2.5%. What the likely outcome, because of that 3.3% constant trimmed inflation, is that the RBA will probably put up their interest rates in the next meeting. A lot of people that I spoke to at work don't own their home, they're renting, and their perspective is that they don't particularly care if interest rates go up because it doesn't affect them necessarily. I kind of beg to differ. So going back to what I just said, they're renting. Investors, which will obviously affect renters because they will be passing on those increases of interest rates through the rent. So a lot of things that do come into play that do hurt everyday Australians. It kind of ties into my previous 2 or 3 videos regarding that gas and also the NDIS and also fuel. The problem with inflation is that when they put interest rates up, it kind of tries to suck the money out of the market. So inflation means there's a lot more money in the market, which means the prices are going up. And I suppose the easiest way to look at it, if you've got 10 iPhones and they cost $1,000 each, you'll sell 10 iPhones. But when there's more money in the economy, people have got a lot of disposable income, and there's only a finite amount of these iPhones and 100 people want them, the prices go up because people are willing to spend more to get one of those 10 iPhones, which is inflation. Not really clean, but you kind of get what I mean. We're kind of basically having a lot more money in the market with the same amount of finite resources, so the bidding price goes up to kind of offset the supply and demand, I suppose, is the easiest way to look at it. If they increase interest rates, what will happen is that people that don't have a mortgage, they've already paid off their home, they've got high disposable income, the baby boomers, not all of them, but most of them, have all this disposable income. They're not going to be putting it into high interest savings accounts. They're going to possibly look at spending it because obviously they're coming towards the end of their life. They want to enjoy their life. So they're pushing money back into the economy, which kind of pushes that inflationary figure up a little bit more. It comes into play with it. We have been talking about gas. We've been talking about the gas export tax. The issue where that comes from an inflationary point of view is that the government does back down on the gas export tax, which by the looks of it they have. It kind of gives the government less money to play with. Less money for the government to come in and assist with cost of living crisis. So that's a general gist of what's going on with the economy at the moment. We will be delving back into gas in the next video.